Let's go to Marie from Salem, Virginia. She watches our program on the NRB network. Hello, Marie. Welcome to New Life.
Hi, Steve.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
How could we help you today?
I'm doing fine. I'm having some problems, and I'm hoping you can help me to figure out how to get beyond this.
That's what we're here for.
I'm dealing with the effects of having an abusive, emotionally, verbally abusive childhood from a very, very critical father. And now I'm finding myself getting very hurt by things that my husband says. I'm taking those things, if they're at all critical, I'm taking it as being critical when he's not really meaning it that way.
All right. And what have you done to resolve all of the issues that you had with Dad?
Oh, well, I've gone to counseling before. Those things came up. I feel like for the most part I'm doing very well with it. My father's now passed on, and I'm very thankful he became a Christian before he did. And I never got a chance to really talk with him at length about anything like this to clear it up, but I have forgiven him in my heart. But I just feel that I have that pain inside that when things are said to me like, oh, you should have done this, not that, I just take it as another critical thing from my dad.
I bet you, Marie, I bet you have a high shame factor. The shame kicks in really strongly, doesn't it?
And maybe it's shame, maybe it's just feeling I was so abused that I still feel that again.
All right, we'll have some answers when we come back.
You're listening to New Life Live, 1-800-229-3000.
Hi everybody, Max Locato here. You know, I've been a pastor for over 25 years, and in the process, I've been fortunate to cross paths a few times with Steve Arterburn and his team at New Life. And I can tell you for a fact that these are good people doing real ministry work where the rubber meets the road. One of the ways they help people is through their New Life Weekend. The Apostle Paul writes about finding the transformation that comes from the renewing of your mind. That's what these folks at New Life specialize in. Whether you struggle with anger, unforgiveness, depression, grief, boundaries issues, maybe you've never worked through the pain of a past abortion, maybe you need a marriage tune-up, maybe your marriage is in crisis. Listen, these good people can help you. Call them today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and ask about the New Life Weekend.
I just absolutely believe in the mission of New Life, and I feel that the materials provided and the biblical counseling perspective is so valuable and not available in so many places. And New Life and membership in Club New Life provides access to the live program and also CDs available to listen to. So I know it's easy to turn on the radio and receive the benefit, but those services don't come without expense. And I would sure like to see the program remain on. So I would like to challenge listeners who listen and receive benefit but haven't yet given to actually give this year and continue the giving, of course, because more people need to hear.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask how you can start your Club New Life membership today. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now, back to the program.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Milan Yurkovich. He's the author of How We Love, and Dr. Dave Stoop is the author of Forgiving the Unforgivable, and many, many other books, including the editor of the Life Recovery Bible, which we would love for you to have as our gift to you for supporting this ministry through Club New Life, or a gift of $50 or more that goes toward a matching gift of $100,000. These things don't come along very often, but you have the opportunity to give $2 for every one that you give. We're talking with Marie right now. She watches on the NRB network, and the childhood wounds are affecting her. And one thing that she said, Milan and Dave, that bothered me is that she said, I did counseling. And, it's like if you got treated for head lice. Here we go. And 2 years later...
That's a fun thought.
And 2 years later, you have head lice again. You'd never say, well, I was treated for head lice, or I got help for head lice 2 years ago. Marie, you need to be in that counseling situation now. No matter what you did before, now is the time to really probably make some breakthroughs and gain some really solid ground in the counseling process. Mylan?
Well, I think there's two phases, Marie, to your healing journey. Phase one is I came to terms with my dad. I went to counseling. I processed a lot of the losses from my childhood. He subsequently passed away, but you know what? People can pass away, but the tape still plays in our brain. It's like we push the play button, and that criticism, the shame, the abuse kicks back in. Phase two would be for you to go to marriage counseling with your husband, because what's happening is your body grew up, and inside, in this particular part of you, feels little when somebody critiques you or says something that they disagree with, has an opinion about what you've done. And it's hard for you not to, in your mind, immediately go back to that old familiar place of the abusive dad. So what I do with couples in my office is I bring them in and I have them learn to have adult conversations with each other. And adult reality is people will disagree with me. And my personal growth is learning to tolerate that and not go to an all bad place, which is where you're at. You go to an all bad place. So your experience is very common. You're not alone. We write about this in our book, How We Love. And it's a place of sensitivity that can heal. And I recommend that you do your best to do it in the realm of marriage counseling.
Yeah, I think it's important that your husband understand the wound that you had and the sensitivity that's still there.
Right.
I mean, criticism is always a hurtful behavior and you get to decide whether it's criticism or not the person that's saying it. So if it feels like criticism, it is criticism, and your husband needs to be aware of that, and that's where marital counseling could help that. But the other thing is, there's a behavior you can do when you are feeling criticized. If your husband is saying something that feels that way, just simply instead of getting hurt or withdrawing or fighting back, just say, what do you need me to do right now? Because often criticism is a veiled request. It's kind of a hidden request. So simply say, what do you need me to do right now? And that breaks the cycle, and it breaks the cycle inside as well.
All right. I hope that's helpful.
Which is to be an adult.
Yeah.
As opposed to slinking away in some sort of a shameful place, and the bad child.
Yeah.
Nice.
What would you guys like to send her that would be helpful to her?
I think Dave's book on dads and forgiveness would be a very good book for her.
Forgiving our parents, forgiving ourselves, because there may be some things that are left over with your dad, and that book will help you do it.
We'll get that off to you. I'm so glad you called. Let this be the beginning of the journey. Let this difficulty with the husband be the
catalyst to take you to a new level.
Right. Be the warning light on your dashboard that says, hey, I got to take this in. I got to take myself in and get some work done.
And it's important to pay attention to dashboard lights, isn't it?
It really is. It's a lot of people, they're looking down at the floorboard and they're not seeing what the dashboard light is.
Well, I had one that was on, and the mechanic says, well, it's this, and you don't really need that, so if you can ignore the light, don't worry about it. And so I ignored the light for about 5,000 miles, and then I took it in for service, and I said, why don't you just fix that? Boy, the car drives better. So I think it was more than what he said it was.
One of my insights into Misty, because she's such her IQ is off the charts, but when we were dating, the light on her dash was going off, and I said, hey, that says maintenance required over there. She goes, I know, I got to take this in and get that light fixed. I can't believe. I said, well, maybe it's not the light. Okay, so a few days later, she's driving down the freeway, and boom, smoke everywhere, the engine locked. She was totally out of oil, and so she had to buy a new engine for $2,600 to put in that Taurus, and but it was so unlike her, because she's so logical. Okay, light, must be something wrong. Take this thing in.
Just a broken light.
The light.
I felt so brilliant then. That was then.